very rarely do I agree to have somebody bring products to block my coffee mug. Okay? As long as they're not blocking the figurative mug, the literal mug. But you could see the granola and mustards of Ed McCaffrey. McCaffrey's Rocky Mountain granola and mustard, where all mustards and granolas can be acquired. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed McCaffrey is here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Thank you.
Where's the I Survived Ray Handley mustard? Where do we see that?
Hey, he's a Stanford man. Speak highly of him.
My bad.
What was? May he rest in peace.
My bad. But you started with the Giants and then went to the Denver Broncos. And all right, let's talk about the granola.
Something's bothering me here. The desk isn't balanced out. We have more product. If we could fit some more product,
it feels like
on the other side of the desk.
I'm going to date myself.
That would be
both
nice.
The same age here. It's like Fred Flintstone's car tipped over at the end, right? By the Brontosaurus burger.
Yeah.
Okay. But where did you come up with this?
Well, we're in the business of making good food taste better with mustard and horseradish, right?
Okay.
And everybody has that in their fridge. And then in the business of making healthy food taste great. So we launched our healthy snack category. We launched granola just about a month ago, and it's gluten-free, non-GMO, super healthy food for you. But we did not sacrifice taste. That's the one thing that most healthy food sacrifices.
Yes.
It tastes bad. It's cardboard or tastes medicine, and ours is delicious. So I did all the taste testing, and I think it's the best granola on the planet, and hopefully people will like it. And you can get it, right? If you type in McCaffrey, you'll just get all Christian's highlights. But then after that, type in granola.
Yes.
And you will get McCaffrey's granola, and you can buy all of our products at McCaffrey Brands. It's on Amazon. It's in some retail, but the best thing to do is just search for it, and you'll find it, and hopefully you like it.
Yeah, additional retail availability at Dick's Sporting Goods, so you can get your sporting goods and your granola and your mustards. Amazon and McCaffreygranola.com. So this one is the almond cranberry coconut crunch. Then we got the cinnamon raisin, golden cinnamon raisin. Pardon me, I didn't mean about the golden portion. And then you've got the blueberry lemon sunrise.
Yes. So there's some people have nut allergies. There's no nuts in the golden cinnamon raisin. Golden's also a city in Colorado.
Got it.
One of the things we're really proud about is it's made in Colorado, and we use Colorado honey. So there's actually ingredients that we use sourced from Colorado, which, it's a short growing season because we have a long winter. So you can't get every ingredient in Colorado, but we're really proud. That's where we call home. I've lived there longer than anywhere else. That's where our boys were raised. So Lisa and I feel really good about having this product manufactured in Colorado using Colorado honey. And then we incorporated golden in there. And the blueberry lemon sunrise is a really unique flavor. You don't see a lot of blueberry granola with lemon zest. And then my favorite is almond cranberry coconut crunch because it has my favorite ingredients.
And I imagine the golden cinnamon raisin pairs better with the light version of the liquids that come out of Golden, Colorado.
Yes, it goes very well with those.
The light version.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got to have the light.
After having a lot of those late at night, you might want to eat something and carry that granola with you. Yeah.
Just want to get that all out there.
Well, we do have beer. We do have beer mustard, and we don't use a brewery in Colorado for our beer.
Okay.
But we're in the works.
Ed McCaffrey
it's in the works.
is here on the Rich Eisen Show, 3-time Super Bowl champion, who, along with his wife Lisa and their 4 sons, expanding the McCaffrey Brands family with the launch of McCaffrey's Rocky Mountain granola, as well as mustards and horseradish and all the good stuff, right? That's right here in the
Yes, and this is all for you. Hopefully,
oh, wow.
If you really like it, you can talk more about it. If not, just text me.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know what you think. But I think you'll like it. Yeah, you look healthy. You're in good shape. You been running?
Well, okay. Now listen, Ed.
Easy, Ed.
Yes, I've been running. But secondly, did he go higher register with the You Look Healthy?
A little bit.
Did you? Because again, we hear on this program, if anybody goes higher register, they got to go higher register to believe what they're saying. Was just me being particularly sensitive? Like you look healthy. You know what I mean? Instead of
you do. Well, I was trying.
They just happened.
I was trying to set up my joke. Have you been running? Because obviously, run, Rich. So not everyone will get that, but I was trying to set that up. But you actually do look healthy. I would say you look like you're in good cardiovascular shape because we're around the same age. You're a young buck. You're a little younger than me.
But we're around a month or so.
Well, you almost made it to Leo, but you got the Krebs. So I'm
cancerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. June.
And so you almost made it to Leo, but not quite. But you're younger. But you look in good cardiovascular. You might not hit the weight room as much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is that accurate?
I'm hitting the weight room a little bit more.
Okay.
But
you have some tone, but you're not like the gym rat.
That's correct.
Which neither am I. By the way,
I'm zone tuning for those in the know on the treadmill. I do the zone 2 to get my heart rate, and I'm fat burning.
Well, you look in good shape.
Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate it. It's only going to get better with the.
You look in good shape.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Ed McCaffrey here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so let's get into some of the old good days. When you went, how did you go from the Giants to the Broncos?
I was cut.
You were cut. Is that right?
Yeah, I thought I was having a great career. I love New York and love the Giants. Still have some friends that work for the organization.
And Dan Reeves was the coach from your last year?
Well, you know what? It started out with Bill Parcells. I was drafted by Bill Parcells. He gave me the call on draft day.
What was that?
That was when they only had, I think, maybe the first 2 rounds on the first day of the draft, maybe the first round, I forget. But after
the first 3 rounds.
After that,
yeah.
Well, I was the last pick of the 3rd round. It was no longer televised at that point, and I was waiting around on the Napoleon Dynamite rotary phone for my call, and my buddy kept calling me. I'm like, dude, stop calling me. I keep thinking I'm getting drafted.
Yes.
And so eventually I thought, you know what, I guess I'll get drafted day 2. But I got the call, and Bill Parcells was the coach. But he made it through 1 mini camp, and then he stepped down, and then Ray Hanley became the head coach. Right. He was there 2 years. Then after going 8-8 and 6-10, he was let go. But I got to play with all those players that were on the Super Bowl team with Lawrence Taylor and Phil Simms and all those guys.
Okay, give me your favorite Lawrence Taylor story. What do you got?
Well, my first day of camp, I held out for 8 days, which is frowned upon for a 3rd round draft pick, over maybe 20 grand. Who knows what it was for? But I held out.
Was George Young the guy you were?
He was. George Young was there.
Come on.
Yeah. So I held out. So I show up to camp, and we were at Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Yeah,
and
baby.
They set up the locker room in the auxiliary gym, so it's like where they have their intramural sports. And there wooden makeshift lockers, and they have the athletic tape with your name written in a Sharpie. And I walk through the locker room, and sure enough, my name's spelled wrong on the athletic tape above my locker. But for some reason, my locker is right between Carl Banks and Lawrence Taylor. And I'm thinking, I don't know why I'm with the linebackers, but Lawrence Taylor's reputation already precedes him. I'm going to start off with saying he was an incredible teammate, and he was really nice to me, and he's smart and has a good sense of humor.
Nice. But
I had never met him before. So I'm sitting down between LT and Carl, and it's between the first and second practice. Back then, as soon as you signed, you run out and go to practice. So I signed after the first, right before the second, and they're like, get out to practice. So I'm in my locker getting ready to go, and LT's locker is notoriously messy. It's like a disaster. He can't find one of his cleats. So I haven't met these guys yet. And we already know about LT. Everybody knows everything about LT. So he's talking to Carl across my face saying, hey, man, you seen my cleat? And I'm just sitting there minding my own business. I'm this skinny wide receiver from Stanford who just got to the team. And Carl, who's a big dude, he's like 6'5", 6'6", 250. And LT is a good 250, and they're just won a Super Bowl, and they're 2 of the best, most ferocious linebackers in the league. And so LT stands up on the other side of me and says, hey man, did you take my cleat? And I'm thinking, I'm going to get my ass kicked on the first day of practice. I just got here. And he's looking at me like he's seriously going to beat the hell out of me. And then he just slaps me on the back. He's, man, I'm just messing with you. I'm like, oh my Lord, like what just happened? And then I kid you not, we go out to practice, and on one of the first plays of our drill against the defense, he head slaps one of the tight ends, one of the young tight ends on our team, and literally breaks his nose. And the tight end, had to leave the practice. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean to do it." And so I'm thinking he really is crazy. Like,
yeah,
I really almost did get my ass kicked. I don't know.
Yeah,
but he ended up being a great teammate. I really enjoyed my time there. He was really cool to me. But he did scare the living hell out of me on the first day of practice.
I bet. So you get cut, and then how did you wind your way to Denver? Which, by the way, talk about. You just mentioned in talking about your granola and your mustards that are sitting here on my desk that. You've moved to Colorado and you've lived there your entire days, and that's your home. I bet you were thinking at the time, what's happening in my life? What's happening in my career? Not knowing a life-altering moment for the positive was just about to happen here.
Yeah, it turned out to be great.
Sure.
I mean, long story short, we won 3 Super Bowls in the next 5 years. It worked out pretty well for me.
Right.
But you know what? It wasn't all luck. I remember once I got cut, Max, who's now coaching for the Chargers, he's a running back coach for the Chargers. He's our oldest son. He was 2 months old. So we just moved into a new apartment, and I'm writing down all my goals. You know how you do. Like, I want to be a starter. I want to have so many catches. And I was feeling really good about my position on the team. And then I just get a call that they have enough receivers in camp and we won't be needing you to show up to camp. Like, my whole world just got rocked. I'm thinking law school, business school. Camp already started for teams, so it's a little late to try to find a team. And I had maybe 4 or 5 options of teams that were looking to potentially bring in a receiver, and the 49ers were one of them. But I made the decision to go to a team I thought could win a Super Bowl. I'm like, you know what? I want to be part of a Super Bowl championship team. Mm-hmm. That was the number one factor that I considered before I selected a team to try out for, because there's no guarantee you're going to make the team. And so I decided I want to try out for the 49ers. I think they're in a good position to potentially win a Super Bowl.
94 they did.
Yeah. And so I go out to the team, and there's like 14 receivers in camp. And when I first get there, they put me in a room with like 8 other receivers in bunk beds. If you can believe it, they did that in training camp in the NFL in the 90s. And I had to go to Coach Seifert and say, look, if you don't want me on the team, I get it. But like, there's no way I'm going to room with a bunch of other receivers. People listen to music, stay up at different hours. I'm like, I'm serious about making the team. And I thought he was going to cut me. And then I was really thinking, business school, law school, I'm going to do something. Look for another career. But luckily, William Bar None Floyd was holding out, and there was an empty room, and I ended up with my own room, which was pretty cool until he signed. But I had sprained my ankle. I played in a charity basketball game. It was kind of good cause stupid for me to do that. I sprained my ankle, so my ankle's wrapped up like in a cast. We're in Rockland, California. It's like 120 some degrees. I almost got cut, thinking I was going to get cut when I talked to Coach Seifert, but luckily I didn't. And then every day I'm going out to compete for my job.
With Jerry Rice?
Well, I'm backing up Jerry. I know I'm not going to start, but they only kept 4 receivers. That's unheard of. They keep 4 receivers, and all 4 from the team the year before were on the team, and 2 of them are Jerry Rice and John Taylor. So really, maybe there's 1 spot or 2 spots between 14 guys competing for these spots. And guess who I have to go up against every day? Deion Sanders, right? So it's like I'm backing up Jerry Rice. I got to somehow do well against Deion Sanders in practice to be able to make the team. And there's 14 receivers here and all 4 from the year before. And, I was like, my ankle was killing me. I was like stressed out. But that was a turning point in my life and in my football career. I remember walking out to practice, and I just started laughing, like to myself. Like, this is ridiculous. Right. I have a sprained ankle. I got to try to beat Deion Sanders on a good day when you're healthy. Like, you got to go up against Deion. And it's not looking good. But I'm like, I don't even care anymore. I just want to have fun playing football today. And if I beat Deion on 1 slant route, my 2-month-old son's going to hear about it for the rest of his life in practice.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love you, Deion. But I take credit. Deion doesn't give me credit, but I take credit for him being the defensive player of the year that year. He had to go against me in practice every day.
That's right, Ed McCaffrey.
So I'll take it. I'm the only one giving myself credit for that. But I took pride. I was so happy for him. Mm-hmm. Like, he worked so hard every day, and like in some really minuscule, small way, I contributed. So I'm going to take that one. But it, I just. So I loosened up, right. And when you run, you can't be tense. You have to relax. Mm-hmm. I started breathing. I started relaxing. I didn't care about the past, and I didn't care about the future. If I make the team, great. If I don't, great. I'm going to be okay either way. And it allowed me the freedom to relax and play better. You run faster. You're quicker. You breathe better. You don't get as tired. And in that moment, I became a better football player. I was a better player as a backup for the Niners. And then, because I didn't get in the games that much, Mike Shanahan, who was our offensive coordinator, took note, and he barely talked to me all year long. By the way, he has to get in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if you have a Hall of Fame vote, but if you do, Mike Shanahan. Hall of Fame. We've waited too long. But anyway.
It's kind of
it's a running joke at this point, but he'll get in. Sure. It's just a matter of when. But anyway, he noticed me in practice. So for all those people who don't think people are watching, they're watching. Right. The people that matter are watching what you do when no one else is watching. And so he noticed, and I really loved playing for him. I thought he was an offensive genius. I saw what he did with the 49ers. We blew out the Chargers in the Super Bowl, and we ran right through the season. Dallas was a tough game in the
Super Bowl was the NFC championship.
Right.
And by the way, I was there as a local reporter for KRCR-TV in Redding, California.
Really?
Yes, I was shooting the video just as Steve Young ran underneath the goalpost. Like, I kind of look at the NFL films footage of him, like celebrating to try and pause. If you could see me in my jacket and tie with a 3/4-inch camera on my shoulder. I was there.
That is awesome.
That was the Super Bowl, Ed.
Yeah, it was.
That was the Super Bowl.
It was a great game, and I know they had battled a few years before that, and finally the Niners came out. But Steve Young was so great to me. I was only there 7 months, And I have friendships that have lasted a lifetime. That was such a well-run organization and such wonderful coaches and players on that team. Harris Barton took me in under his wing.
Right.
Bart Oates had come from the Giants to play for the 49ers. So I got there, but I felt like I had a ton of friends and people that were really cool to me. And it was such a great atmosphere. So many Hall of Fame players, and it was such a magical season. And so I got to live my dream of being part of a Super Bowl champion. And I got to see what greatness looked like. That was a great team. That was greatness.
So Mike took you to Denver?
Took me to Denver, and I had an option. I could have signed a couple other places, but back then, it was really good money for the time at like $136,000 for the season. But after moving expenses and everything else, you're playing for free basically. And so it wasn't about the money. I just wanted to be on a championship team. And so I knew what Mike had done, and Jack Elway was my college coach. When I first got to Stanford. So I had met John at breakfast when we played CU one morning, and John was a legend. He was a Stanford guy, but I'm like, I want to play with John Elway, and I want to play for Mike Shanahan. So I didn't really know a lot of other people, but those were the two reasons I wanted to play in Denver. And thank goodness that was the right decision, because I got to play with some of the greatest players and coaches, and we got to win our first Super Bowl, then we won another one. And it was such a magical run, but it all started with adversity, right? It all started with getting cut, and then it started with me surrendering to just be the best I could be and let fate take care of itself. And then, following the right people and trying to select the right organization, right coach, right players to play with. And it was a magical 5-year run. But the memories we created in Denver, every single day of my life, I talked to someone about Super Bowl 32. Or they asked me a question about Coach Shanahan or John Elway. And it just has, I never thought of that. Like when you're a kid, you think of catching passes in the Super Bowl or winning a championship, but you don't think of like how your life is affected for the rest of your life. And then with my kids playing, it's made it even more special.
Well, I mean, what a life lesson you just gave, Ed, is that your biggest moments can come out of what you consider, or what everyone else around you and the rest of the world considers failure.
Yeah.
Failure is the best teaching tool and the best moment for you to sit down and go, this ain't it. This is not defining me. I got this. And it takes a reserve. It takes a certain excellence within you that you either wake up with sometimes or you don't. And by the way, Rod Smith should be in the Hall of Fame too.
Yes, thank you.
And TD's already there. Pat Bowlen, obviously, may he rest. I love that man. He helped birth NFL Network. He could not have been a bigger supporter of NFL Network his entire time while, in his remaining days from the NFL Network to when he passed. And you're right. I mean, Mike Shanahan is the man. All right, Hoskins, pop this photograph up. Who is this blonde-haired baby running around amidst the Super Bowl 33 confetti? Who is that?
Yeah, he's got good technique right there. He might need to dorsiflex that left foot a little more, but other than that, he's running well. That is Christian. That is my man, Christian. Do he ended up in a photo. Nobody really knew he was our kid, but that's after the Super Bowl. That would be 33.
Yes, sir.
And he ended up in a picture in Sports Illustrated, one of those front fold-out pictures.
Was that his first Sports Illustrated?
Yeah, that was his first one. And gosh, how old must he have been there? He was really young.
Is that Max to the right then?
Yep, that is Max.
Okay.
Yep. That was so cool. That was back when the kids could go down on the field afterwards and run around in the confetti. And
what do you think of when you see a photograph like this right now?
I think it's so incredibly cool. For me, like that was such a wonderful moment. Your team wins the Super Bowl. You're celebrating with your coaches and teammates. Then your kids get to be down there on the field running around. What an unbelievable memory. For them. He was so young, he probably barely remembers it, but they were having fun and we were all celebrating. You know how it is. Everyone runs onto the field. And
what is it like to now, having watched your son play in a Super Bowl?
It's pretty surreal. It's pretty surreal. Well, now I'm at the age where, guys I played with are coaches or work in the front office or are broadcasters that are our age, right? And then my kids' friends and guys they played against are now in the NFL. So you go from watching your kid in Little League thinking, okay, they'll play for as long as they can, who knows how long. And then they go to high school, and then they go to college, and then they're in the NFL with a lot of the players that we knew of growing up because you play in like the All-American games and things like that.
Yes.
And so now it's like just still a dad watching his kid, except all these kids are pro athletes now. And it's pretty surreal, but it feels the same. Like when you're a father, sure. Your kids are your kids. So whatever it is they're doing, you just want to be there for them. And if you can help, you help. If not, you just cheer them on and hope for the best. And you're happy that they're pursuing their dreams, doing what they want to do. And so with my kids, they've just always loved football. They've always just taken to it right out the gate.
Well, it's not only just, you played in a Super Bowl, won 3 of them, and now you're watching your son Christian having played in a Super Bowl. But he's also playing in a Super Bowl for the team you won a Super Bowl with for the first time in your career. For the son of the coach, you won 2 other ones.
That doesn't happen too often.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Like it's Mike's kid and your kid.
Yeah.
Trying to get the same goal of what you did when you were a Niner and then what you did when you were a Bronco for and with Mike. It's nuts.
Sometimes I feel like I'm on the Truman Show, right? Like, is this the real world? Like, the world's bigger than that, right? But it's amazing how it worked out. I knew Kyle when he was the ball boy for the 49ers. And even though he gets credit for babysitting Christian, that was mostly Crystal that did the babysitting.
Right.
But, and then he went with Mike to the Broncos. You see all those pictures of him holding. So he's grown up a football life, right? He grew up the son of a coach and has been involved with the team since the time he could walk. And so is Christian. He was in the locker room playing Power Rangers with Rod Smith and Shannon Sharp and my teammates and, high-fiving John Elway after games. And he grew up in this football life. But that's no guarantee. The percentage of pro players whose kids play pro are minuscule, right? It's not like it's a hall pass to the NFL.
Let alone for the son of the coach that you won 3 Super Bowls with.
I don't know if that's ever happened, really.
I can't imagine. Yeah. I can't imagine. And anytime I speak with Christian and to people who play with Christian, they talk about, and we pick it up from him, his remarkable work ethic. His best weapon could be what's between his temples and what beats in his chest. Ed, where does he get that from?
I think he was born with it. He's always loved sports. He's always loved football. He's one of those kids that is very self-aware, and if he loves something, he's all in. He can't get enough of it. And if he doesn't, he wants nothing to do with it. So luckily for football, he's all in. Like, he loves it. And he's a student of the game. He's always studying, always trying to find ways to get better. He's always been super competitive. Luckily, he had a great big brother in Max who let him tag along with him and his older friends. So he's always competing with older kids. But some of it is just, innate ability. Like, he was born with the ability to anticipate and with vision. And like, that's not something we often talk about. You talk about 40-yard dashes and bench presses, but like, the great athletes in every sport have the ability to anticipate, and they see things differently. The game slows down for him, and he's been blessed with that. He just has been.
Well, I mean, not for you to speak on his behalf, but I'm about to ask you to do that. He's the magical age of 30 now as a running back, and the conversations about running backs who hit 30. I'm sure he's acutely aware of that. Is that something that's a fire lit under him, do you think, for this?
He's always been a competitor, and in a weird way, even though he's been the best at what he does for many, many years, he always has a chip on his shoulder. And I think that helps to have a chip on your shoulder, to always feel like you have to prove something. It's to other people, it's to your coaches and teammates, but really it's to yourself. Prove to yourself that you can do the things people say you can't do. You know that in your profession. It's football. It's every line of work that anybody has. You always feel like you got to prove yourself. And so, I was probably in the best shape of my life in my 30s. I was getting in better shape in my 30s. Unfortunately, I had an injury at like 33 maybe.
Right.
But I felt in incredible shape. And Christian started playing the game early. He was 20 when he got in the league, maybe 21, first year in the league. And then he trains like crazy. And there's been a boatload of running backs who have had 1,000-yard seasons and been offensive players of the year after the age of 30. If you want to get into the topic of running backs, first of all, the average career in the NFL is 3 years.
I know, right?
And they talk about the average length of receivers versus running backs, and it's 2.6 versus 2.3 years. So what are we talking about? There's no metrics at all or data that suggests that the elite running backs are less productive than elite any other position. And we're not talking about every running back or every receiver, or every edge rusher. The elite players are elite for a reason. And because of, franchise tags and salary cap restrictions for running backs, they really drew the short stick when it comes to the salaries they're making in the NFL.
No doubt about
right. So it's
You're
like
preaching to the choir
it's unbelievable. But I will say this about Christian: he's very self-aware, and football means the world to him. So he wants to be the best player he can be for his teammates and for his coaches and for himself, and he does everything he possibly can. There's, I don't want to say that he works harder than ever. There's a lot of guys that work hard. There's a lot of guys that work smart. There's a lot of guys that come out of pocket to do everything they can to be the best player they can for their team. And he's one of those guys. So he will leave no stone unturned in terms of his preparation, and he will be ready to go. So, and he will play with a chip on his shoulder all the time. That's how he's wired.
Age 30, man, he's made it. Not bad for a guy that was from Stanford, apparently couldn't run between the tackles and wasn't a good teammate because he didn't
remember
play
when
his
they
bowl
used to
game.
say
I
that?
remember all of that insanity, Ed. I remember all of that.
Yeah.
Then he shows up at the combine and runs the route tree better than any wide receiver that was at the combine. I remember that too. And let's talk about Luke. He's in a launch position as well, right?
Thank you. Yeah, he's going into year 3. He's having a good camp. Coach Quinn does a phenomenal job with that team.
He's going to have an opportunity
to
step up, man. I mean, like they need weapons for Jaden Daniels here. I mean, I know that there's, McLaurin, the OG, but Luke's got a shot to really take the reins here.
I'm really proud of him. I think Coach Quinn does a great job of creating competition within the team, but also building a pretty solid culture.
Yeah.
So the guys love playing for Coach Quinn, and Luke's getting an opportunity. It's a great receivers room. They all get along. They all work really hard. They all have different skill sets.
Right.
And so he's going to have an opportunity again in life. Everybody knows there's no guarantees, but he's having a really good camp. Jaden is looking sharp. I was at camp the other day.
Okay.
And he was on fire, very efficient, spreading the ball out all around the field. And so I'm hoping that's a good harbinger for what's to come. And Jaden's a special player. But Luke's getting a lot of playing time, and he's getting a chance to compete during camp. And he's fired up too. He's the youngest of 4 boys.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about a chip on the shoulder, right? He's getting the last turkey leg at the dinner table. You know what I'm saying? Like he's scrapping. He's been a scrapper his whole life, and so he's a competitor, which is why I think he fits really well with that team.
I appreciate you dropping the word harbinger. By the way, that is a Stanford man right there, and I know what harbinger means because Stanford is the Michigan of the West. And so, in the couple minutes I have left here, the best and the worst teammate babysitters for your children.
Oh man,
the best
teammate
babysitters.
And why is the answer Lawrence Taylor for both?
Yeah.
Well, man, Max was just a little baby.
That's true.
Okay.
Well,
best and worst. I got 2 minutes here.
Yeah. No.
The heart out. You're radio man.
There's a couple. Rod Smith was great in the locker room. They used to hang out around my locker, and we were next to each other. But we actually there's some names people may or may not know, but Jake Plummer once dressed up as Santa Claus and came into our house. Bill Musgrave babysat the kids. And so we did have a couple of guys that actually came over the house and did watch and hang out with the kids and throw the football around in the backyard.
Okay, so the teammate that you said, hey, guess who's coming over to babysit, and Lisa's like, who?
Yeah.
Really? What?
No, Lisa knows him, but...
No, not say who, but really, who's coming over?
And, it was Lisa's idea. Like, someone has to dress up and come over and surprise the kids.
Okay,
so it's usually her idea. Any of the creative ideas that we have in our family are her. Worst, I'm not going to throw the worst under the bus, but it did involve driving a motorized vehicle into and through our garage door. Yeah, that was the worst.
Now I need the who.
And they pretended like it didn't happen.
It's decades later.
Like
the statute of
like the whole just
done.
magically. I mean, like, did something happen? No, nothing happened.
Statute's done.
Yeah. I can't do it. I can't throw people.
Sounds like
it reminds. Yeah. It sounds like.
No, their number.
I can't do it to them.
All right. Everybody, check out the McCaffrey Rocky Mountain Granola. Again, available on Amazon and McCaffreygranola.com. On all of that. Thank you for coming on here.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
It's
That is
an
Ed
honor. Thank
McCaffrey right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Just real quick, when it comes to you and your home, Pella Windows and Doors are the experts at taking care of you and your home. 0% financing options are available right now. Certain restrictions apply. Find your local Pella Windows and Doors showroom today at Pella.com/Eisen. Still here with you, sir. I've got 2 minutes left as well for this story. I asked for your favorite Elway story. What do you have for me? I know it's vast. Your favorite John Elway story, Ed McCaffrey.
Oh, gosh. It's my memory that I think of every day. It's Super Bowl 32. John had played his whole career, had been to and lost a couple of Super Bowls.
Yep.
Pat Bowlen famously said this one's for John after that game. That tells you how important it was for John Elway, but I got to line up in the victory formation. And I realized not everyone knows what the victory formation is, believe it or not, but you line up like in a V formation, and I'm the guy in the back that just in case someone slaps the football, I got to fall on it, right, to end the game. So I'm back there behind John, and I'm looking at the clock, and it's going so slow. Like time is frozen. I see the pixels of the numbers changing from 3 to 2. I'm like, please don't have the nose tackle slap the football and I have to fall on it, right? This is the Super Bowl. And 3, 2, and it's taken forever. This is frozen in my mind, frozen in time for me. Think about it daily. And 2, 1, and then finally John takes the snap, takes the knee, and he turns around, and every human emotion possible is on his face. He's laughing, he's crying. It was like a lifetime of fulfillment, all in one facial expression. And I had wanted to pick him up over my head and carry him off the field, but I had had my knee drained twice that week. And I'm like, I might drop John Elway after the Super Bowl.
Is this the moment? Right.
That's it. That's my favorite John Elway moment of all time. It was, and again, I think about it every day.
Your knees is saying, don't do it.
Well, I was going to do it. I don't know if you can see the knee brace I had on, but I popped my bursa sac against Pittsburgh and had my knee drained twice. I wasn't even sure I was going to play. Thank goodness we had 2 weeks. So I originally thought pick him up, and then if I drop him, that's not going to be good. So I'm not going to try to pick him up. But I was the first one to celebrate with him, and then Rod Smith jumped in, and then the whole team stormed the field. But to see the expression on his face after that game, that was he would work for that for a lifetime. And it was such a beautiful moment for John, for our team, for Broncos fans everywhere. They're so used to losing, right? And that was I got to be part of the first Super Bowl, and I got to be the first one to congratulate John after the game.
So cool.
So cool.
That's awesome.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single weekday on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio. And be sure to now check out richeisenshop.com to see all of our latest apparel and accessories so you can rep your love of the show every day.